Mike, I know you have a number of yeah, obviously these aren't going to be basketball related questions. So go ahead,
Yeah.
go ahead, Coach Mike.
Actually, yeah. I mean, of course, we're supposed to be a golf show, but I want to pick Coach Chot's brains. You know, I have a lot of questions for him. Like, you know, what the kind of work you're doing now. How is that process for you from going from legendary coach to doing what you do now? How is that? How did that happen? I'm
Um,
curious ako.
yeah, when I was coaching, even when I was coaching, I never really saw myself as a forever coach. In my mind, this was something I was doing because I loved doing it. I thought I was pretty successful with it, but I always had something in, you know, I knew there was always something more than just coaching. Nothing. No, I'm not disparaging professional coaching. It's fantastic. I love it. It's a great profession. But I always thought that you know, there were other things that I wanted to do. So even while I was coaching, I took my international MBA, and that's where I saw executive and business coaching. So sabi ko, shoot na shoot yun, because when when I started winning the first time I coached, kasi nanalo kagad ako, di ba, that first year sa first tournament sa Pure Foods.
Pure Foods,
So
yeah.
I became very active in the corporate speaking circuit. Dami nag-invite sa akin mag-talk and all that. Until naging yung mga invitation, parang some companies were asking me for more semi-regular engagements. So I thought I was going to be a management consultant. Sabi ko, teka, kulang ang knowledge ko. So that's why nag-MBA ako. I took my MBA. That's where I found executive coaching. So even when I was coaching already sa basketball, I always had an option behind. Because sabi ko, hindi naman forever to. Yung coaches are hired to be fired, especially sa basketball. I mean, I guess any sport, but especially in professional basketball, dito sa Pilipinas, coaches are hired to be fired. You're only as good as your last championship. You know, I always wanted to have something in the as a backup. So that was one thing. And then I put up my own management consulting company, yung Coach.com nga. That was 2002 pa, 2003. At the same time, we put up our own business. So I'm also an entrepreneur. We have the master franchise for Tony and Guy, the franchise from London, because my wife is a hairdresser. So lahat ito ginagawa ko even when I was coaching. So I was never just a coach. And then there was a time pa, nagturo pa ako sa Ateneo, mga 7-8 years din yun, Lee. I taught sports business class sa college.
Okay.
Sa Ateneo, I taught sports business. So because I'm the type of person na I'm a lifelong learner, and I want to believe I have a growth mindset. I consistently want to challenge myself to pick up new things, to grow new things. Kanina nga, kaya 10 o'clock tayo because at 9 o'clock I had a class on neuroaxiology, something new in the coaching business. Neuroaxiology, whatever.
Neuroaxiology.
So, yeah. Mga ganyan-ganyang mga style. So ano ko yan, I always like being in the cutting edge and, you know, knowing a lot of things. That's why when 2012 came, at the end of 2012, that was my 50th birthday. Mag-50 na ako. And I always had that in my mind that at 50 I will retire. At 50, I wanted to do other things or do things that I wanted to do. So nung nagpaalam na ako, kinausap ako ng chairman, si MVP, to stay for 2 more years to coach Gilas. But at the same time, because yung national team coaching, hindi naman like the PBA na the whole year yon, it was very seasonal. Sabi niya, you have a lot of time in your hands, patakbuhin mo na yung Sports 5. So yung sports division ng TV5. So sabi ko, sige. Anyway, that sports, trip ko naman yon. And I've always been very curious about always the business side of sports. Tinuturo ko nga sports business at Ateneo, di ba? So I took it on. So we did very well in our first year. We, from losing millions, we turned it around in our first year, second year, until it became very profitable. So after 3 years, binigay sa akin yung Digital 5, and then suddenly nag-retire yung then president namin noon. So they made me the CEO. I never really looked for it. Hindi ko naman yan inambisyon, but it was something that they felt was the best person for the job. I guess because yung division ko lang ang kumikita rin ng pera doon. So yun ang naging transition. So from coaching, so I was running TV5 even while I was coaching Gilas, the national team, and still being an entrepreneur and still doing my coach.com stuff, still being very active in the corporate speaking circuit, so on and so forth. So yun ang naging transition. So now after 5 years, 2012 yun, 2013, so late last year, actually lampas na nga ng isang taon, pero 55 na ako. Nung 55 na ako, sabi ko, then it's time to focus on my executive and business coaching practice. At the same time, we were going to expand Tony and Guy. We wanted to expand the business. We were scheduled to open 2 more, actually 3 more this year, until na COVID lang kami. So, I think it's going to be moved back towards the end of the year. But we wanted to go on an aggressive expansion mode sa Tony and Guy namin. So that's why I am where I am today. But yun yung arc nung story nung sagot sa tanong mo, Mike.
Grabe. I mean, that's really, I mean, I'm amazed na yun nga. I'm sure yung experience mo sa court, sa basketball, and then your experience sa business, nagtutulungan yun, malamang, di ba?
Yeah.
I remember, parehas yata tayo ng course at interdisciplinary studies ba?
Yeah. IS.
Yeah.
IS.
So, parehas. So, I think
IS is best.
yung having a multi-dimensional, perspective.
So yun ang
isa pa.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been following your social media for a while. Yeah, and I'm really, you're one of the few people I look up to talaga. You said in an IG post recently something about motivation. Parang it was a clip yata from a talk, no? And you said, your motivation is a heart issue.
Yeah.
You cannot motivate another person unless you are
self-motivated.
Or self-motivated first, no?
Yes.
And then there was some double redundancy.
Yeah.
So, and then I was really it struck home because me personally as a coach, I'm not gonna ask a player or a student to do something that I'm not willing to do, right? That's why pinapakita ko sila. I try to stay healthy, eat healthy, regular train pa rin. Kahit hindi ako naglalaro, even if I don't compete, I work on my game, and it really struck home what you said about motivation. Pero meron akong follow up doon. Did you ever get to a point where parang sabi mo hindi ko na problema to. Hindi ko na responsibility mag-motivate itong player na to. Have you ever gotten to that point?
Yes and no. I get that question all the time. Coach, paano ba mag-motivate? And ang sagot ko palagi, motivation is overrated. People call me a very motivational coach. Galing ko daw mag-motivate. Ganito. Mm-hmm. In my mind, very honestly, motivation is overrated. I think, like I meant what I said. you cannot really motivate another individual. So the best way is to be self-motivated yourself first. Sabi ko nga, di ba? So I think our job as coaches is to create an environment where they are consistently inspired. So I think that's really our job. And to a large extent, real motivation has to come from within the players. Hindi talaga naman natin trabaho yun eh. Pero ang trabaho natin is to make sure we do not do things that demotivate them. Yun ang problema sa coaches eh. We do a lot of things that demotivate our players. Isa sinasabi natin or mga mannerisms natin, the gestures or stuff that we do are demotivating them. Kasi, especially, I'm sure you have golfers who are prodigies. Magagaling talaga sila, di ba? By their very nature, they are superstars. Parang ano yan eh, sa kabayo yung thoroughbred, di ba? Yung thoroughbred,
yes.
pag magaling yung kabayo mo, hindi mo yung rerendahan. Don't manage them. Don't handle them.
You unleash
Dapat
them.
yung pakawalan mo nga eh, di ba? So, ang trabaho mo lang as the coach is to get out of their way. Kasi magaling nga sila eh. By their very nature, because they're superstars, they are already self-driven. They have a high standard. They really want to be the best. So, ang trabaho natin is to make sure we stay out of their way. That's why for me, to answer your question, when sometimes you say that hindi ko na trabaho yan, I believe there's a lot of times where we have to recognize as coaches, yun yung fine line, di ba? That fine line where is there something else that you can still do, or is it time to say na, hindi ko na trabaho yan, problema na niya yan, di ba? But for me, that's never an issue because I don't find it my job to motivate my players. If I have to motivate my players, may problema talaga, di ba? Kailangan, especially sa Gilas, di ba? At the highest levels, nandun sila for a reason because they're the best at what they do. So, yun lang ang difference. But having said that, we have to find ways for them to constantly be inspired. Diba? So kaya I really don't like the term motivational speaker sa akin. Kaya lang yun ang alam ng mga tao eh. That's why I can't get around from using it. I really like using inspirational speaker more than motivational speaker. Because it really has to come from within. Kailangan maano sa loob eh. So
galing.
So yun lang talaga. Kailangan talaga. So when we motivate people, so number one rule is first be self-motivated yourself first, diba? The second is you have to understand people today, especially the younger generation, what they want is autonomy, mastery, purpose. That's what motivates them. Tandaan mo lang yun, how to amp them up. Autonomy, mastery, purpose. I can steer my own ship, I steer it well, and I steer it for a bigger purpose. There's a reason why I steer it well. That's what motivates people, whether it's as a basketball player or in a business or in corporations. Yun ang gusto nila. Kaya if you're the type of leader na command and control kay old style leader, itong gagawin mo, this is what you should do, this is how you should do it, they'll really turn off. They'll really, iiwan ka nila, maski ano pa sweldo bigay mo, maski anong, your employees will leave you. Yun ang palaging inaano. So you always have to make sure the conditions that you're building in your team are honoring their need for autonomy, mastery, and purpose. So, ganun kami sa Gilas, di ba? Even our system, yung dribble drive, yung bara-bara basketball, wala nga kaming play-play. Bahala kayo kung anong gusto nyong gawin, di ba? And they're masters at it. They're very, very good at it. They're the best in what they do at it. And for a bigger purpose, yung Laban Pilipinas puso, di ba? To bring honor and glory to our country. And that's why when people are asking, ano ba sikreto ng Gilas? Bakit ba buhay basketball? Ba't bang hirap talunin? Yun lang ang sikreto. Di ba? And then the other part there is they're a real team, which is my advantage over other coaches because that's my education, that's my certification, that's my specialization. I'm really learned and a master on building teams. So, yun naman ang difference doon.
That's very powerful stuff, Coach. Especially yung that tail end of the autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Sometimes kasi nagtatapos dun sa mastery no?
Yep.
Yung purpose yung wala no? Or at least it gets kind of lost down the road.
Or sometimes yung purpose lang kasi kumita ng pera. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if you want real peak performance, exceeding expectation performance, it has to be more than that. And ask anyone, sasabihin ng mga tao sa opisina, sa trabaho, pera-pera lang naman to, coach. Kalokohan yun. That's a load of bull. Diba? They're there because they're for a bigger reason. Pero, yeah, kung pera-pera lang, they'll just go through the process. Diba? Yun yung compliance lang. Pumapasok lang sila. They're just going through the motions, di ba? Pero yung mga taong talagang pursigido, they're going to, work with a lot of initiative, with a lot of, kakaiba yung trabaho nila. Yun, because they are working for a bigger purpose, more than just pera.
I'll put you in a spot, Coach Chot. Speaking of bigger purposes, do you have an idea, at least personally, what your bigger purpose is? Siguro, politics maybe in the future?
Parang dami ng every election may pumupunta, kinakausap ako, they're asking me to run for this, for that. I'm consistent. Even in this last one, ako, kulit, pati asawa ko, kinausap na nila, so on and so forth. Pati si chairman, si MVP, kinausap na nila. But, ang sinasabi ko palagi, ang sarap ng tulog ko sa gabi. Di ba? If you're in politics, hindi ka makakatulog ng mahimbing sa gabi because ang dami mong problema. But having said that, my biggest motivation for coaching Gilas was because that's the only way I know how to serve my country. Kasi I'm not a politician with millions of constituents. I'm not a business guru with thousands of employees. All I am is a basketball coach. The only way I can serve my country is by coaching the national team, no matter how thankless it is. Lalo dito sa atin, di ba? Pag panalo yung team, galing ng players. Pag talo yung team, tanga ng coach. Diba? Palaging kasalanan ng coach dito sa atin. Diba? So that's always been my motivation for coaching Gilas. Now, my real bigger purpose is to help develop the next generation of Filipino leaders. Yun talaga. That's why I'm doing everything that I'm doing, and I'm if you take a look at even my Instagram, my LinkedIn account, just tonight, kanina yung post ko kanina, somebody said that my last post was life-changing for him. It meant a lot for him and ganyan. So, yun ang ano ko. That's really my purpose to develop the next generation of Filipino leaders because we really lack leaders. Kulang na kulang talaga ang leadership sa bansa na. Actually, sa mundo naman But sa bansa, just take a look at your community, our government, organizations. I've been there. Lahat kailangan na maisip mo, nagawa ko na. I'm running my own business. I'm an entrepreneur. I've run a big company. I've been part of huge companies. When I was with Pure Foods, I was part of the Ayala Group. When I was with San Miguel, when I coached Coke, I was with the San Miguel Group. I coached San Miguel also. And then I was with the MVP Group. I've been through all the bigger corporations, and there's always problems. So for me, that's my biggest purpose to help develop the next generation of Filipino leaders, and not through politics. In
Definitely
my own
not.
little way.
Hindi yun And do you see any parallelisms between steering it a bit back to golf, no? With what you're doing now, meron ka bang nakikita mga parallelisms dyan? I mean, the principles of golf, no?
Dami.
And yung leadership,
yeah.
Development of, like you said, that's your bigger purpose that you see, no? Na parang you want to inspire the next generation of leaders. Are there any lessons from golf that could be applicable along those lines?
Dami. Number one, it has been sa
Honesty.
medium.com ba yun?
Honesty
I
with
think-
your score.
Yeah. Medium.com came up with a article, sabi nila, self-regulation is going to be the most important skill in the 21st century. Self-regulation, your ability to manage your emotions, to regulate your emotion. And that goes to emotional intelligence. That's why part of my heart model is emotional intelligence. Yung letter E ng heart model ko is emotional intelligence. And that is so important sa golf. Diba? And I'm sure Coach Mike will agree. If you cannot manage your emotions, if you cannot regulate your temper, your thinking, if you can control your breathing, wala ka, patay ka sa golf. You can be the most athletic, you can be the farthest hitter. But unless you're able to. So part of emotional intelligence, the step number one sa emotional intelligence is self-awareness. And how important is self-awareness in golf? You've got to know what are the shots that you can pull off. Diba? So you have to be very honest. You have to be very aware of what kind of shot it is that you can pull off. So
parang yan yung sinasabi mo, Coach, na you were saying, diba, na your way to serve the country was through your basketball coaching because that's what you can really do best, no? And then like yan yung sinasabi mo yun, no? Na what shot can I pull off? Not necessarily the perfect shot, or not necessarily the shot that DJ can hit or Rory can hit, but what I can hit that will be effective. That will get my ball closer to the hole.
Correct, di ba? So I think it's really, sa akin, golf is really a practice of. Kaya hirap na hirap ako ngayon maglaro na walang caddy eh. Kasi wala akong mapagbintangan eh. Dahil may napagbibintangan ako eh. Basa mo eh.
Distansya, yung yardage, no?
Yeah, but golf really is, ikaw talaga eh. Maski anong sabihin ng caddy mo, in the end, ikaw talaga yun eh. Wala ka namang, so that's one is emotional intelligence, and then it's a big exercise in accountability. Kasi there's no one to blame but yourself, di ba? So it's really accountability and resilience. You have to have very high level of adversity quotient and resilience because in golf you have more bad shots than good shots. Kasi ganun eh. Unlike sa basketball, you can have 50% shooting. Sa golf, hindi ganun eh. Golf is really, di ba, a question of always coming back from, because you hardly hit the perfect shot in golf. Di ba? You always have, maski even if you drive it down the middle of the fairway, pagdating mo, nasa libot ka pala. Di ba? Or nasa side hill ka, nakaganon ka. Di ba? So if you don't have a strong adversity quotient, if you are not resilient, you will not succeed to golf. So resilience is very important. And as we're seeing now in this pandemic, the value of resilience, di ba? That's why sa heart model ko, resilience is the letter R doon. So we actually teach people how to build resilience. So in my heart model, it's about health, emotional intelligence, agility, resilience, and teammanship. I mean, you all, Coach Mike, Coach Lee, you all know the value of all of those, di ba? And all the executives know the value of all of those things. The question is, can you coach it? Yun naman ang tanong doon eh. Kung leader ka, if you're team leader, can you coach it? So that's where I come in. I give you tools and I give you a model so that you can coach it. Kasi yung old style, alam ko yan kasi na-experience ko na yan eh. And sasabihin mo sa mga tao, dumikit ka lang sa akin, magigets mo rin yan. Di ba yung dating style na by osmosis. Didikit ka lang sa boss mo, magigets mo rin lahat yun. We don't have that time. So that's why we're seeing a lot of problems sometimes with succession, because our forefathers, the previous generation, no fault of their own. Pero hindi lang sila, they were just not aware of the value of passing it on, di ba? Of teaching it or coaching it to their successors.
I think the notion kasi of passing it down or passing it on before was taken quite literally, no? At least that's how they knew how to do it. So, hindi talaga naturo, kaya minsan pagka nag-retire ganyan, hindi talaga yung quality is not the same. Correct. No? It's not the same exact.
Yes.
Bigat to, ah.
So yung sa akin, it's almost like it's meta coaching, di ba? We're coaching people how to coach. I'm coaching leaders how to coach. Parang ganun.
Coach
Chot,
Chot,
challenging, ano?
Yeah.
Yeah. May isa akong you always put the hashtag future fit. What's that all about? Yeah. I mean, for the viewers who are not aware.
Yeah, when
future
nung nag-retire ako sa TV5 middle of last year, I was telling Lee, I talked to my kasi ang dami kong because I was very active in the corporate speaking circuit and then we were doing a lot of team building activities. So I asked them what are their issues in the future, what are they looking at. That was middle of last year. So two things came out. It was agility, and how to future-proof their organizations. Actually, they're connected, di ba? How can you be agile enough so that you can future-proof yourself? Kasi the digitally disruptive world, ang bilis eh. You can be number one today, and then tomorrow, iba na naman, and then iba na naman. So you have to be very agile to be able to future-proof yourself. So iniisip ko, how can we future-proof ourselves if we don't even know what the next disruption is going to be? So sabi ko, we cannot future-proof ourselves, but we can future-fit ourselves. We cannot predict the future, but we can prepare for the future. So yun yung essence ng future fit. So just to be fit enough, to be agile enough to react, to anticipate what's going to happen in this digitally disruptive world. So to be future fit, essentially, is to have a heart of a leader. So a future fit coach, he is the foundation of future fitness is health. Kaya fitness, di ba? It's health. So I always tell all the executives I work with, dami niyong pinag-iisipan, matalino kayo, you're working on this technology and all that. But what is the level of your physical health? Because if you're not healthy, then all of this goes down the drain.
Yeah.
So, sasabihin ko sa kanila, all of the problems that you have at work, di ba? If hindi ka makakonsentrate, hindi ka makafocus, sluggish ka, wala kang energy, all of those have a physical root. Diba? May cost na physical yon. Anong kinain mo kagabi? Anong oras ka natulog? Nag-exercise ka ba? Nag-inom ka ba? Physical cost lahat yon. Most of the problems that we have, right? So sa akin, that is the foundation of all great leadership. So that's the starting point of future fit, Mike. That's why yung Instagram ko naging ganun eh. Naging puro ang daming workout. Hindi naman ako workout guru eh. So but then when I stopped doing it, ang daming nagtatanong, coach, so ang daming feedback. People are actually telling me that, coach, na-inspire kami to work out kasi nakikita namin yung workout mo. And then, tinatamad na ako, tapos nakita ko, nag-workout ka. Okay, workout ulit ako. Bumili ako ng kettlebell, coach, kasi nakita ko may kettlebell ka. So at least we're seeing people are getting into the health thing. And then, nangyari to, di ba? How important is it now? So, yun yung future fit. The foundation is health, and then it's emotionally, then you have to be emotionally intelligent. And then you have to be agile. And to be agile, you have to have a growth mindset. So, Carol Dweck said, may growth mindset, may fixed mindset. So you have to have a growth mindset. Otherwise, you cannot be agile.
So
but agility,
fit,
but agility, doing things quicker with more speed, chances are you will make mistakes. Kasi it's not perfect, di ba? So then you need resilience. Then you need to have the ability to recover and not only bounce back, but the term is, I use bounce forward, which I got from Sheryl Sandberg on Facebook. And all of that, emotional intelligence, agility, resilience, all of that is scaled by your ability to build great teams. So if you can build a team that is healthy, your team has endurance, has stamina, di ba? Is emotionally intelligent. Kasi emotional intelligence starts with self-awareness and it leads to good relationships. social interaction. So that leads to great teamwork. And if you have a team that is agile, they can pivot very quickly. Everyone can pivot if you give them 3 months to analyze or 1 year to adjust. But the quick question is, how quickly can you pivot, diba? And then you have a resilient team. Then, so for me, that's the heart of the future fit leader. So ang pinanggagalingan yun is because now the only way you can really get the best out of your people is if you capture the heart of your people, not only their minds or their thinking or their but really the heart of your people, yung real engagement. So that's yun yung program, that's the workshop, that's the future fit workshop.
Galing.
No.
Galing, coach, ha? Sumakto dun sa puso, ha?
Yes, and then puso yun. Oh.
Oo.
So I give it, in fact, I'm starting one again. My next one is this Saturday, 8-hour workshop yun. So it's an 8-hour workshop spread over 3 days, 2.5 days each, or 2.5 hours each, or 3 hours each. So we deep dive into each element of that heart model.
How do you do that? Is that like a group session? You do that online?
Zoom.
Okay.
You get
Okay.
ayoko masyadong marami. I cap it at 20. So normally it's 15, 20 people. So
maganda class size. Good class.
Yeah, then we give you a lot of models and tools. So magagamit mo talaga, very applicable talaga. So this coming we have executives from a lot of companies. The last time was I had the athletic director of Lasal Sobel also. Iba-iba. Gandang but it's so it's really about
Naalala ko pa yung isang talk na binigay mo na nung I was still with Nike then, and then Nike Singapore invited you to
yung team naman yun.
Yeah. Oo. Pero this was siguro you were still actively coaching. Oo.
Tony Atayde time pa ba yun? Tony Atayde time pa yun.
Tony Atayde time yun. So nandun kami noon, it was a sales conference yun eh. And so you went up nga to give a talk, and then naalala ko yung video mo dun eh na yung what was practice. I think that was kay RDO yata yun.
Yeah,
and it was actually exacto dun sa game. The drills that were being run na parang kala mo walk through lang, pero actually pagdating yung game situation, pareho, no?
Exacto, yeah.
Alala ko yun.
Yun lang naman yun, di ba? Kasi yun naman ang talks ko, that's why it became very well accepted kasi hindi siya PowerPoint eh. Kasi the last thing you want to see is another PowerPoint deck, di ba? So yung mga talk ko, kwento lang naman eh, di ba? Video lang naman eh. Then we just get the lessons from that. So ganun yan. Yung workshop ko, it's a real workshop. You really work and we give you some models and we go through, the elements of emotional intelligence, agility, resilience. Tsaka maganda yung team.
Well, anyway.
So, yun yung future fit. Yun yung future fit.
Yun ba yung H? Yun yung H heart? Yung future fit? Is that like the hashtag for the H?
No, future fit is like the all-encompassing program. How to be future fit.
Okay.
But the heart model, yung H is health.
That's the physical, the health, not the fitness side of it.
Physical health, yeah.
Okay.
Kasi nakakalimutan ng mga tao yun eh. Sasabihin nila, hindi coach, nagbabatak ako ng buto talaga dito, para sa pamilya ko to, para sa mga anak ko eh. Sabi ko, sige, pag inatake ka sa puso, anong mangyayari sa'yo? Paano na yung mga anak mo? So, naisip ko,
Yeah.
So lahat ng tao dumadaan sa workshop ko, makikita mo ngayon lahat sila, nag-workout na sila, nag-ano na sila, at least, di ba? So if we can get a healthier population.
Were you always like physically like into were you into tawag dito, fitness ever since?
No, I hated working out. I've always been into sports. I've always prided myself in my stamina, my endurance physique. Kasi football player ako, basketball, track and field, and all that. But I really got into yung working out and fitness towards my later years na. Kasi, when you get older and hindi ka na makaano ng competitive basketball the way you want to, really, di ba? So you have to just augment it with HIIT, a lot of core work, dito swimming, nahalo-halo ko. My other son is a yoga instructor. So dito sa bahay namin, chop suey dito eh.
Ganda, nakita ko yung post. Nakita ko yung isang post mo.
Tatakbuhan dyan.
One of your recent posts, di ba? Para kayo, iba-iba yung ginagawa nyo.
No, iba-iba. So, I think at least yun ang manang-anak ko sa akin. Yung nahilig sila sa working out. At least they're healthy. At saka iwas bisyo. Ang laking bagay iwas bisyo para sa mga bata.
Saka that's important now, especially with this COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
So if you look at the stats, majority of the fatalities are comorbidities. So,
correct.
I mean, people are looking at vaccination as the only viable protection. Pero if you look at the stats, your best protection is to not get cardiovascular disease or diabetes or yung mga other obesity related na
the healthier you are, the more chances you have of even if you get it, at least you can.
Yes.
Well, guys, I mean,
last 2 minutes na tayo.
PBA parlance, this is the last 2 minutes.
Last 2 minutes.
And I can't believe how much wisdom has been shared tonight in such a short span of time. And I mean, I wish we had more time for this. Baka naman, Coach Chot, pagka hindi ka na masyadong busy, we can all go on a round.
Ba? Sure.
Basta maging patient lang kayo sa paghahanap ko ng bola kasi baka lahat kayo nasa gitna kayo palagi.
Ayan yung pro, kasama natin yung pro.
Yeah, but sobrang thanks, Coach Chot. It was not just a pleasure, it was an honor to and very inspiring actually to
send me your number. I know. Mike tsaka Lee, send me your number.
I will. And para I myself have signed up for a couple of mga online classes as well, just for more development, and looks like you're down the right track with this one, with the Future Fit, and On the Green wishes you. I mean, we want to be part of this journey. So I mean, after this whole thing, we should all like hang out or play a few rounds.
Yep. Thank you for the invite. Yep.
Yeah, we can do this again soon. But right now, Zoom is telling
next time sa fairway talaga tayo. Gawin natin itong show sa fairway.
Pwede. And then we have like defense, and that would be interesting. Yeah. Okay, so that's been another very interesting and very insightful show for episode for On the Green. So I'm Coach Lee and of course Coach Mike. Thank you, Coach Chot. Well, this is going to be posted sometime in the afternoon, but this was an evening well spent, definitely.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Till the next one.
Thanks for the instruction, Mike.